We've been working since from Tuesday.
Welcome all to your wonderful show here. We're back again at Sankofa here, your favorite station. And thank you very much for giving us access into your homes, you're on your phones, wherever you are, in Brazzaville, in Congo, you are in Abuja, in Nigeria, you are in Uganda, Kampala, or you are in Freetown, or Dar es Salaam, you are in Angola, you are in Zimbabwe, Mozambique, Lorenzo Marx, you are in Nairobi, Kenya, or you're in South Africa. And some of you are also watching us on your handsets. You're sitting in your car, you're in your home, you are whiling up your day. It's another Sunday. And what we do on Sundays, we revisit our ancient ways, we visit our ancient cultures, we get information from the older people just to know how was it like in the past. Then we can know what it must be like in the present. And I noticed that as we are beginning conversations with our wonderful guest, King Bhungane, who has been gracious to us for the past couple of weeks to give us his side of the story on the greater Embo Kingdom. We want to encourage also other cultural leaders out there. And this is one of the biggest problems that Africans will always have. It is that when someone brings up information, we have all the reasons as to say, why is that information wrong? This platform is available. Come forward, bring your information. Phone the numbers that are appearing on the screen for our shows. You're a cultural leader, you're an Induna, you're a chief, you're a king, you work in any other platforms. The whole idea is that as a modern generation, we needed to start championing a process of downloading oral traditions and converting them into the formal education space. Today, we are again graced by His Royal Majesty King Bhungane III. He is with us to take us through another exciting, and I tell you, to be a gripping session we are having today on the issues of funerals and the rituals and burial rites. If you are living in the 21st century, you know it very well. Funerals can cost from 5, 10, 15, 20,000 right up into $1 million. Where people are buying caskets, where people are buying expensive boxes, and the funeral business has become a very big business with prior tiers, during tiers, after tiers. Cars must be hired. And by the way, many of our economic structures are actually founded on our funerals. You find that many of us are millionaires only after we die because we buy funeral policies. Our insurance companies are making sure that we are buried. None of them, if not many of them, are interested in how we are living. We want today to take a very deep look, very closer look at the ancient ways. How did they used to bury in the ancient times? How are we burying now? And what are all these rites and rituals that happen around the funerals? When you die in town, people come there with a piece of a bush and they say they are lifting up your spirit and they are taking you to another place. When they are crossing rivers, there are conversations that are happening. You must go and sleep in the house. You must go and sleep in the church. You know, people do all sorts of rituals, and then you must be lifted, put in the grave, waters to wash your hands. Where must the person be facing when they are being buried? Who is buried in the water? Who is buried in the mountain? Who is buried in the air? And who must touch a dead body? And who is not allowed to touch a dead body? And what happens to the spirit of a person when they die? I don't know if we'll be able to cover all those various aspects, but I'm giving you such a long introduction so that at least you can have a landscape of how much information we're going to be covering. And don't be afraid. All of us who are listening to this program, you are all going to end up in the graveyard. You are all going to end up with the undertakers. We're here for a little while. After that, we pass. There are rituals of birth, there are rituals of life, and there are rituals that must be done to the underworld, and when we pass over to the other side. How do we cross from one realm to the other? And many of us, because of our Christian experiences, we tend to want to undermine and underestimate. You can just bury anyhow. You can just do anyhow. A person who is not related to you, surnames are wrong. And you collect all these kind of spirits that are around your homestead. The question is, what is the impact of improper burial rites, and how, traditionally speaking, must burials be conducted? And let me put the last disclaimer clause. Many of you out there are getting worried and get totally disillusioned. Maponga is supposed to be a bishop. He's supposed to be a pastor of a church. How can he be talking things like this? Well, first comment to you I can give you is none of your business what I talk about. Secondly, you can find me as an educationist. You can find me as a culturalist. You can find me as a minister of religion. You can find me as a philosopher. You can also find me in my royal capacity. And having said that, therefore, you need to know when you are approaching me from which angle and from which path you are coming. I'm not going to die in this world leaving the African nation languishing in poverty and lack of mind and thought processes. Wherever there is information, I will look for it. I will find it and I will share it. We need to know and compare apples with apples and not wait for European people to explain to us who we are and where we come from. Welcome to the show, Your Royal Highness King Bhungane III. And maybe just royal greetings. It's a pleasure to have you on the program again. Spacing ngaba yini ngaphandle kwa Nkosi yakho?
Nkosi yami ngiphansi nami ngiyalawulwa. Ngiphethwa amakhehla, ngiphethwa abogogo. Phethwe umdali. Njoba ngila emhlabeni nje ngiholwa yibo. Angiziphethanga mina. Ngaphansi kwabo.
Now, today I want us to take maybe a very gentle but thorough conversation around rituals. Maybe you can start off first of all, just on top of the program, to explain to us what is a ritual in general terms.
You are introducing a very sensitive topic. This topic, it is a topic that can be perceived by those who assume to be spiritual but not spiritual. Until we define spirituality to understand the rituals that we are talking about today, because we've got different misconceptions today about spirituality. Let me define spirituality in my own definition. And that definition that I am going to place onto this discussion on this show today, it is a definition that it has to do with somebody who's divine. It has to do with divinity. Now, before you can talk about rites and passages or rituals, I think first let us define who we are. We are people that I always refer as abantu abangoni, people who do not dwell into sin, people who are being placed onto this planet by the Creator. And these people, they have something that God gave them and put into their body, into their system. It is called melanin. Let me tell you, no white man has that. Only we, the people of this color, has that. And Bantu people. And that melanin, it is something that defines who you are. It connects you with the cosmos. It connects you with the waters. It connects you with the Creator. And
that is a software for connection.
It is a software for connection.
Modern language.
Absolutely. And that, when you are connected, the connection then defines your culture. It defines your traditions. It defines what we would refer you as a nation who is spiritual. Our mistake, we have totally detached from that connection because we have assumed another identity of the white man. We are told of religions that are never connected
to anything.
Thus we have disconnected and we have lost the contact. That's why we bury in this way that we are burying. And that's why our culture, our traditions, our customs has nothing to do with the Creator.
But with the white man.
The white man put us into that corner. And we think we are the in thing. we are the real thing, into find out you are not.
Nothing.
You are nothing, because you do not exist without a definition of yourself as a nation. We are people who are people of Abangoni, who are spiritual, who are connected with the cosmos, who are connected with the Creator. Out of that, then you'd when you practice divinity, the divine spirit, when you engage onto it, it elevates you into certain levels, certain categories, where you are able to connect and build this friendship with the Creator. You see, a white man will tell you, you must fear God. I don't fear God. But me and the Creator are friends. Because I have worked for all these years into this category to be connected with
and
the
able to relate.
Absolutely. Thus he is able to release information. Somebody whom you fear cannot relate, because there's no friendship between the two.
Someone wrote and said, religion says I have sinned or I have made a mistake.
Yes.
I don't know what my Father will do to me.
Yes.
Spirituality says I have made a mistake.
Absolutely.
Let me call my Father.
Let me call my Father.
There's a difference is
because the Father must be the one that assists you to show you the way that you are out of the way or you are on the way. Because if you understand spirituality in my context, it makes you to be friends
with divinity.
With divinity. And that divinity, then God is able to say to you, you see that person there, take that water and pray for that water to heal that person.
It's service.
The Creator, because me and him are friends, he is able to tell me his secrets of this world and the secrets of heaven. He tells me of a tree to say, you see that tree there?
It has
1, 2, 3. If you can use that tree, it can heal 1, 2, 3, 4. I do not fear God, but I respect him as my friend that I've connected with. And out of the connection, he then, the type of behavior I find myself in that space, it then defines me as a person. It then makes me to be humble. It then makes me to have those rites of passages, those rituals, the conducts, then it makes me to be a humble person. Wow. So then out of that, then you'd understand to say, I am a different person because I have ceased to exist as a person, but
divinity exists.
It has taken over, absolutely.
In me.
It has taken over.
Your sleeping time is consultation time.
Yeah, it's consultation time.
Your living is expression.
Absolutely, because you are now being told, move, don't move, sit down,
don't
eat, do not do this, say this is how things must be done, because you are now
connected.
That's
Wow, I actually came up with thank you very much. Thank you very much, Bayet. I came up with a definition once, which was quite in my own meditation, which says the basic form of humanity, when we define spirituality, it is the ability to connect to nature, firstly, because without your natural habitat, you can't practice spirituality. And now when you live as in concrete houses, you live as in town houses where there is noise, there are cars, we're eating junk foods, we are not sleeping properly, we're not eating properly. How do you practice spirituality in modern times?
How do you practice spirituality? And God says, when you communicate with me, open your hands. so that I should put blessings.
Now, when you pray, you must kneel down and close your arms.
And close.
When you come back after the break, we'll start unpacking these rites of passage. Here, live with me on the program today, King Bhungane III, who is taking us through the ancient African traditions, particularly on the line of burial rites and rites of passage for the modern African child. Don't go away. We'll be back right after the break.
Tech Talk brought to you by Tamani Technologies and Systems. Tamani Technologies and Systems takes leadership in fourth industrial revolution. The whole world is facing a transformation. The revolution will be developed into the following stages: digitization, cyber security, Internet of Things, managed services, document management, and business applications. We provide business transformation and ICT solutions with presence in 13 African countries and 2 European countries. We are your leading partner in integrated platform providers, innovation leaders, standalone products, and innovation pace setters. Tamani Technologies and Systems, delivering value across continents.
Feel the heat. Just watch this. Let the pictures tell you everything. It's all the way through. Oh, what about that? That was really special. Those are the moments that supporters will remember. Feel the excitement. That was delightful. Feel the heat with StarSat.
In the modern days, the African child pretends to be confused. Everything around us works with a system, whether it's a business plan, whether you're building a house. You must have a plan. You must buy the ground. Then you must put a foundation. You don't put a roof on top of the ground. There's a way in which a house is built. Similarly, even in agriculture, you open the ground, you plant the seed, you water the seed, then you can harvest. Then the wood and etc. you move. But when it comes to African culture, many of us want to pretend like we don't know what must happen. Things must just happen at the end. And I think it's important for this morning for us to take a few steps backwards and understand. And hence my first question: what are rituals? What would define as rituals? What sort of rituals must be done before a person is born? What rituals must be done when a person is born? And then life is full of expression of rituals. So that at the end of the day, by the time you die, it's rituals. Because even Christianity, deliberately I say this, even Christianity pretends that it does not believe in rituals. But they drink the blood of Jesus. They eat the flesh of Jesus. They baptize in the waters. They return tithes and offerings. They have uniforms for putting on to church. They have ways of doing, and all these things tell me that they're not rituals. The whole concept of Easter, it's rituals of carrying up the cross and the 7 letters of Jesus and all that stuff and these rites and rituals with music, with drums and etc., with Western keyboards and music instruments to evoke the spirit. Whether he comes or not, it's another story. But in your own explanation, when you look at this issue of African rituals, what sort of key rituals must happen to a person prior to birth, at birth, during birth, at life, by the time before you can take us to the grave? I want you maybe just to step back a little bit.
Right. Remember, as I said, a family becomes involved into a marriage. Before you, the child, be it the girl or be it the boy, especially from the side of the male, before they arrange a marriage for you, they go to the seers to go and check
the information,
the database, if it is a befitting family for us to get married into. Did they abide by the rules of spirituality?
Are they connected?
Are they connected?
But a signal in
Absolutely. So that when they marry there, they do not want any curse to befall,
to be inherited
by this
by the new family.
By the new family. That's why they have to go and consult 3 or 4 people differently, who are totally independent, who do not know each other. Absolutely. Then they will tell you to say, this is the right one. Then when they've done that ritual of arranging by a qela, they go and ask with a certain token, could be kettles, whatever, and then they arrange a marriage where this child, this young girl,
is being brought up,
and then they bring this child, this young girl, into this family. But the family where she is born, they kill her, meaning they remove that particular surname where she was born into a new surname, and assuming a new identity. The name and the surname are removed, and then when she arrives into
she inherits
absolutely the new family where she's been married into, then she's taught the traditions
of that family.
Yes, the rituals, how things are done. But again, they are also taught how sex does not just happen. They are taught how they should ask the gods and to inform the gods, now we are about to engage into 1, 2, 3. We would seek your blessings so that when we engage sexually, we would be able to conceive a child, and that child would be a blessed child, because it won't be just an ordinary child that would be on earth, but that child would be with a certain mission on earth. I'll continue again. Out of that, then they know that this child must be raised in a spiritual way, and this child would be conducting in the certain way, meaning that child, when he or she is 1 month, is taken into the river, because remember, Zomongan came from the river next to the Rites, so they must go and deliver the child to the founding father of this Bantu nation. You understand? So apukwe, with the clay, smear with the mud, that clay from the river, and wash that, so that the aroma connects with the waters. That's I said, melanin, it helps you to connect with the waters. It connects with, it helps you to connect with the cosmos. Out of that child, then there's a certain ritual that is done, where they are, when the placenta is
umbilical cord falls off,
and the placenta is given to the crabs, so that there's a connection. But the same thing again happens again when this child is 1 year. There's a certain ritual also that is done, but this child is raised in a spiritual environment. He or she is taught to say, this is how you must connect, this is how you must pray, and then when that connection is done, then you know out of that this child is a blessed child.
And it's an identifiable child.
Not a child where somebody, they sit somewhere and they slept somewhere and then the child comes out, and then remember that child, there's no identity. There's no person who's claiming that child. There's no family that has been involved into engaging into marriage.
Just entertainment.
Absolutely. So now when I saw now out of that, there are certain rituals that now you must understand as a family. When a person happens to die, I don't know, should I go to that one?
Let's go. Let's go, because we are getting there. We look at various scenarios of death. The whole thing today is about death.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When a person, there's a certain conduct that you must you must adhere to before you die. You must know that you are part of the connection.
So you must know before you die.
Absolutely.
You don't just die like a grasshopper.
No, you don't die, because when you the family would know what rituals they must engage.
Because but what you are saying is very important, because not all death is the same.
Absolutely.
Some are dying at war.
Absolutely.
Some are dying during mischief.
Absolutely.
Some are dying in accidents.
Let me
Some are
tell you.
dying in prison.
Let me
Some
tell
are
you.
dying from poisoning.
Yes.
So the way you die.
Absolutely. It depends how you conduct the rituals. I'll tell you of another scenario that happened here in Gauteng. A man left his wife.
Yeah.
Told his wife that I'm going to visit who
Where,
into a
where?
meeting, where.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, he was going to a girlfriend.
Wash and cook.
He sleeps that evening
At the girlfriend's place.
at the girlfriend's place.
Uh-huh.
He wakes up as a corpse.
Why?
How do you contact that wife
To say
and the family to say your husband
Is here in
and
my
your child
Yeah.
has died
in my bed?
In my bed.
There's a humorous story. You know that aeroplane that disappeared in Gosia? This aeroplane is Malaysia.
Yes, yes, I remember that.
They say
one.
another man,
Yes.
we watch in Gas, which he is flying
Yeah.
to such a place, and then he took the flight number of that flight and gave to his wife that he was going somewhere else. Meanwhile, he was going to the girlfriend's place,
Absolutely.
and now the aeroplane he has an accident.
Absolutely.
And everybody dies.
So you must consider that man as a dead person.
The wife conducted the funeral, but the man is stuck with the girlfriend's place. How do you come back home and say, no, I was not on the aeroplane?
Absolutely.
No.
Sam, like, this is a true story what I'm talking about. Now, this man died. There was a problem now. How do you conduct rituals
In this family, in this
girlfriend's
girlfriend's,
Absolutely.
yeah, because now was
Because
impeded
you must remove his spirit.
from here.
How do you do that? Now, that's I
You
said.
have stolen goods in your bed.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yaphukele esandleni sakho.
yaphukele esandleni sakho. How do you do that?
Let's start with that one.
Yes.
But let's hear. I like stories. What happened to that story first? What happened?
Okay, it's a very interesting story. The wife came
To the girlfriend's place.
the girlfriend's place with the family.
Shame.
Then he was carrying a stick. That is the ritual.
The wife.
The wife. He started beating the corpse.
Okay.
That was their ritual.
Okay.
He beat the corpse. He says, "Yeah, who's fed?
Okay.
I'm shy.
You are a prostitute.
Yeah, we are a prostitute. This is where you end up. Now I'm releasing you out of this house. Get out, you bitch." That's what happened.
Yeah.
You understand? But the question is not that.
Why is to?
Where he is going.
Yeah.
That is the most
Complicated.
complicated one. How is he received
There.
by his ancestors and by the God?
When he has been expelled from here as a prostitute.
How do you sit down and discuss his crime that he has committed? How do you open the gates of heaven with such a crime?
Let's just go
Because
back.
It's not only about him dying in that. Now there are certain traditions, customs, or rites that we have to follow.
Okay.
Firstly,
So this is typically in the event.
this is a true story.
You
Absolutely.
die in the wrong place.
You die in the wrong place.
So let's
remember,
let's
you are a married person.
Person.
You have left your home with a lie.
Number one.
Number one. Number two, you die in
The hands of a wrong woman.
the wrong woman.
You could be a wrong husband also.
Absolutely, it could be
In a
wrong.
hotel.
Absolutely.
You could take someone.
Absolutely.
Take someone's wife to a
Absolutely.
hotel. Or
Absolutely.
she
Now,
dies in your house.
now, how are you perceived by your children?
Hlazophelele.
How are you perceived by your neighbors? How your relatives? Because what we have done, I want to go back to this one. As Joshua Maponga, the surname is not your surname.
It's not mine. In my case, even the first name is not mine.
Absolutely.
Anginagama phela.
No.
Banginikeza igama lakamkhulu, isibongo
Absolutely.
ngesikamkhulu.
Now, so uhlaze wena, you have disgraced
Amagama amabili.
umkhulu nalamagama amanye. Your family, you have put your family into a mud. The question is, what type of rituals do you engage into in cleansing that
kind of a scenario?
That kind of a scenario. Firstly, what do you do? Your family must engage with the family
Of the girlfriend.
Okay. But before they do that, they must first go and pay the damage onto this woman.
The one you were, the girlfriend.
So that I was the wife.
The wife. Oh.
I was bored.
Okay. So we need firstly the family.
Because we need her to go with us to that particular situation.
She's going to marry a second wife, this one.
Yes. Now this is a wife. You have died in another place as a girlfriend. And you have lied going there. You have said, when I'm we are meeting, wasemsebenzini.
Right here in Midrand. He informs his wife, says, I'm going to Cape Town. I'm going to Cape Town. Yes. Next to Photocommute. Then he disappears. The wife is driving from Senten on her way to Pretoria, back to Pretoria. How? Here is the Audi belonging to the husband. Wherefore, she phones the husband and says, hey, sweetie, where are you? The husband opens up the window. He goes, hey, I'm in Cape Town. There's lots of wind here. And the woman is following behind the Audi now. And the woman says, oh, really? How is Cape Town? Yeah, there's lots of wind in Cape Town here. And who is this car that I'm looking at in front here? There was a speed, almost accident was caused on this road here. Now husband running away from there. But so these are real things that are happening and real issues that happen. So I want you at home there to be listening very carefully. We shall be looking at a few scenarios in terms of rituals and how people come out from the ritual. So the first ritual we hear, in case a husband dies in the wrong house, or in case a wife dies in the wrong house also, because both cases are true. So the first thing is to find forgiveness.
Forgiveness from your wife.
Even from the husband also.
So that there must be a buy-in.
Let's work with the wife first.
Absolutely. There should be a buy-in from your wife. And jointly with the family, you are able to go there with a clean spirit.
Wow.
To go and release that spirit out of that particular house. Where you are going to also engage with a certain ritual in that house. Because you cannot leave the spirit of your child into that house. But when you go there dividedly, then it's not going to work out. As I said initially, what you need to do is to have a buy-in of this other victim.
You know what is so interesting? What is so interesting is that Christians don't want to talk about this. But they get involved in these things.
It's true.
Now, boom, you are an elder of a church, you are a pastor of a church. You believe in whatever you believe in. I don't believe in these things, I don't believe in these things.
But there
it happens. And before you bury or do anything, you are stuck in the mess. So this for me is information that is way out. Because you may end up in the house of a person who is an unbeliever, so to speak. The question is, how do you deal with these things and get these situations resolved?
Absolutely. So what you then do, you go there with a clean spirit as a team.
As a team.
You go and release that particular...
From that home?
That home.
Okay. But in terms of rituals of asking for forgiveness from the wife, what goes in there?
For an example, the family
a goat, a chicken, or...
It's a goat.
It's a goat.
But you must first sit down with the wife and agree.
These are the uncles, the aunties.
But it's not only the wife as we are talking to. The ancestors of this home.
They are in here.
Yeah, you first start with the wife, then you say jointly, let us start with the chickens to say, Siandlala. We are preparing the way so that when we engage the spirits to ask for forgiveness for making this surname to be in the mud. We are cleaning that.
We remember Bella, that she came into the house through the crawl.
Absolutely.
So we know.
Yes. Yeah. Now you are asking for forgiveness from the gods to say there now then you ask that happens. Actually, maybe you have removed the corpse. Maybe the corpse is in the mortuary. But that conduct in that week, it must be done. So what happens is that you then go there as a delegation. You exclude the wife from engaging. She can be there. But she must now understand to say, there we are not going to fight. There we are not going to fight. We are going to engage the spirits. To ask for forgiveness from the gods to say, there now let us start with the wife. And agree. These are the ancestors of this home. But you must now understand to say, there we are not going to fight.
We're looking for peace now.
We're looking for peace. And the peace is not about you making peace with that girlfriend.
No.
But it is about releasing the spirit
Of this man.
so that this spirit must be able to go to the gods and go and sit down into a court case where he must be.
You must also answer on his
Absolutely.
own.
But if you are going to be fighting here, you are not assisting in this process.
Okay.
It's very important that.
That's clear.
Now, when they go there, also a certain animal needs to be taken
To the girlfriend's house now.
and then a certain herbs, certain herbs needs to be taken so that you clean that particular
house.
You cleanse that particular
That
house.
bed.
Absolutely. Maybe you buy a new bed.
And you burn that one.
You burn that one because it is with a spirit of your child.
My word.
You replace it so that you then cleanse that house. Then you say, we are sorry.
Imagine buying a bed for a girlfriend.
Because you,
I'm
are the one that we have messed up in that house.
But I'm saying to me, if you are supposed to talk about responsibility.
Because we lie to these girls as males. That's why, end of the day, it is us that must take responsibility. Because we tell them the way we love them, we tell them the way things are going to be, then we forget that one day we might wake up dead in that bed.
My word.
That is very important, that we must take responsibility as the Bhunganes. To say we
clean up that room.
We are here to clean the room, but also the house and also the yard, so that nothing
that belongs to us remains here.
Absolutely. Then we then said we are sorry. Could be with a collateral damage that we say we are very sorry for 1, 2, 3 for this.
So actually, it is us who died in your house.
Absolutely, because
who
he's carrying our surname, this man.
But I want us to compare that with modern language, where modern women, for example, might say, "No, it's me who must be claiming damage from her because she's the one who took my husband." But actually, in African tradition,
now remember the wife. She was killed from her family.
She's now part of us.
She's part of us. There were rituals that were done into this family for her to assume this name, to assume this surname in this family. She's part of this family.
She's part of us.
When she speaks as one family. So she does not operate alone. Absolutely.
Okay.
That's where I was coming from.
I love that. That sounds very.
That is very important. When she goes there, she must understand she's not representing herself.
It's the family.
It's a family. It's a collective decision, collective approach, collective speaking as a family. There you don't go and fight.
No, go and fight. We're going for peace.
I'll tell you a practical example. A case that was presented yesterday. Is it day before yesterday? Day before yesterday. Sunday,
Friday.
Yesterday. Is it yesterday?
Yesterday, Saturday.
What happened at the palace? A guy came in. He went to his girlfriend. He says he was drunk. This is a true story. Day before yesterday, it happened. They brought that case at the crown. Enkundleni.
Yes, yeah.
So I was not part of it, but I was listening to the outcomes. Absolutely. The guy went back home. He was drunk.
Home or girlfriend? Home.
Girlfriend. Home, and then he went to the girlfriend.
Okay.
Now the wife. Wow, what a humble girl! What a humble woman! I've never seen. Yesterday I was at my palace. I was talking to myself last night. I said,
there are some people.
What a humble person. That woman, she's a divine spirit. I'll tell you why. This guy decided to leave his house, go to his girlfriend. The girlfriend, I think, is enough with this guy.
Or some phone. Chased him away.
He shouts, he says, this guy wants to rape me. The community comes out, yes? Then this guy comes and says, it's true, I've been engaged with this woman.
For some time.
But some people say, no, it's not rape. They've been engaged for quite some time. This woman, she's lying. You understand? But why I'm bringing this item or this story, I'm seeing the wife. The wife is part of this discussion. But this wife, when you speak to her, she's, yeah, Baba. Yeah. Hi, Kinky. She is supporting this person who has committed a crime. To the last. They were punished yesterday. for 2 months. They went to Swaziland to come back after 2 months. I saw the woman with this guy, supporting this guy as if nothing happened.
Wow.
That is exactly what I'm talking about when you say you are part of the family, part of the team. It is not about you to condemn them.
You marry the family.
Absolutely, you marry the family.
individual.
Absolutely. That's what happened. This is a true story. I can take you.
Yesterday's story. This is fresh.
Absolutely fresh. But she came in and says, "Baye Tangonya, the meeting's over, ladies. Yeah, boy. Come on." I was like, I even asked the committee, please don't ban them. Says, no, it's not banning per se, but it's for this guy's protection because they want to kill this guy.
The community wants
yes. Just let's make the community to calm down. Then we will then bring back this guy.
Okay.
Just for 2 months, just for them to cool down.
Yeah.
I said, hey.
But their lives are in danger.
But there's this voice, this conduct that is haunting me of this woman.
No, man.
Now you get where I'm coming
now
from.
getting a rubbish with her.
So, yes.
The pain of an innocent person being part of a...
Remember that tradition where they say a woman holds a knife where it is so sharp.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I saw.
Wow.
That's what I saw.
Ladies and gentlemen, when you come back after the break, we will hear more about how women hold the knife where it cuts the most. But I want to push King Bhungane on the other direction. What happens when a man takes a girlfriend and the girlfriend dies in his house or in a hotel room? Don't go away. It's going to get heated up in this room today.
Hello. Being a legal practitioner in South Africa in these challenging times demands lawyers that will help clients beyond legal issues. The ever-changing demands in commerce and tourism require lawyers who have sound and clear business and commercial knowledge, and that's where MB Chavangu Incorporated comes in. Our business, mining, tourism, health, labor, and economic knowledge encapsulated with law and litigation experience gives us an advantage in the legal sphere. Our experience in assisting businesses, government, and various industries with their needs puts us amongst the many progressive and striving law firms in South Africa. Now, to contact our attorneys for assistance with any of the mentioned fields and others, please call us on 012-341-4187 or send us an email on admin@chabangu.co.za. MB Chabangu Incorporated, where problems meet solutions.
Welcome one, welcome all back again on your program here, Sankofa, live from Johannesburg Universal Galaxy Network here in Johannesburg, where we are in discussion with King Bhungane III. Rituals around the issues of death and how do we say goodbye in this cruel world. Many of us do funny things, complicated things, which leave people and families in situations where people cannot understand. Other people commit suicide, other people kill each other, other people do illegal things that result in the death of people. The question is, as Africans, you always find yourself stuck with rituals that must be performed to clean up this mess. And we've just gone through one case right now where a man leaves his house and dies in the house of the girlfriend, and the king is taking us through some paces there as to how the woman is now actually compensated for having a foreign man die in her house. to such an extent that in some cases even the house must be painted or cleaned up, rituals must be done, beds must be bent, and new beds must be bought, sheets and whatever to clean and carry the spirit away from here. Maybe let's just go through that story first before I come to point B, where the man dies with the woman. He says, so in this case now you do the ritual.
Yeah, you do the ritual. You take the very same sheets where that man was sleeping.
Yeah,
the blankets. They have been taken by the family.
We take them with us.
Absolutely, because it is part of our soul. It is part of our spirit that has been.
The smell of our son is still in these sheets.
They have to conduct certain ritual. After they have done their family rituals, they've buried that person. They go back to that woman,
one more time,
girlfriend, to go and cleanse that particular.
So after the burial, now,
absolutely, they must deal with everything. Yes, they do a semi one, meaning a semi one. Whilst they have taken those things,
collect the corpse.
Absolutely, they collect the corpse, they collapse the blankets, everything. Yes. But they don't release the soul, because the soul is released during the time of the burial. Remember,
yes.
If they will conduct that one before they do the burial, then absolutely, it does not work that way. That's why I said it's a semi one, and then after they've released their soul,
and they've buried him now.
Yes, they buried him. They have to go back to that particular family after what they refer 10 days now, and then they have to go and deal with this particular ritual and say, we, as we have promised that we'll come back, we are back. We want to do. They have to slaughter the chickens, the goats, and cleanse. And then there will be a compensation by the family, to the very same girlfriend, to say, we as the family of the Bhunganes, we are very sorry for what has happened. We know that our child has put you into this dilemma. We are very sorry. This is how far we could go.
And I think what you're saying is very important. For me, the responsibility becomes two-way. When you are with someone and you know that you have not done the correct things, and life has these events that happen, it's not only the responsibility of the husband.
Absolutely.
I think even women also must be put into this page, onto the same conversation, as to when you are with someone whom you know that traditionally you have not done, or you have not done correct rituals. You are both in trouble.
We are both in trouble.
It's trouble for both.
The same ritual that is conducted where a boyfriend has died, it's the same, similar to the one where the girlfriend has died
in your place. I want to take you that one. I deliberately mentioned it because I want us to share some notes on the Shona culture. In the Shona culture, you leave your house, you go to town. You leave your wife, you leave your children, and you go and have a good time in town. And like in the mines here, when you are in town, you find yourself Machisa Kwapa, a woman who can warm your bed in the mines of Johannesburg or in the cities of town. There, you take someone. Even in a case where you can go on the street and pick up a prostitute, and she comes to your house or your hotel room, wherever it is. If it happens that this person that you have taken dies in your bed, first things first, before we even talk about burial, we talk marriage.
No, it's true.
That's in Shona.
Now, traditionally, you do that. You understand?
For the men's side, it almost becomes complicated.
Absolutely.
Much bigger.
Much bigger. But in our tradition, as I said, I'm talking about 21st century.
Yeah.
You do those rituals. But in the olden times, remember, we did not have this Jola story.
Yeah.
You understand? In the situation that I'm talking about now, yes, you have to get married. But at the same time, remember, this is a situation, this man has passed on. You understand? This girlfriend has passed on top of your bed. What do? There are rituals that you have to conduct yourself. Now,
as a man.
But again, remember, it does not end up there. You are still going to engage into a case.
Proper case.
The proper case is with your ancestors. Now, when you are to be buried, there's a ritual where it is conducted. Remember, when a person has to be buried on Saturday, as we are doing this nowadays, but nowadays they go on Thursdays, whatever.
Yeah, any day of the week.
Yes, but in the true sense, what they do is that during the week, what they do is that they slaughter chickens before, maybe 4 of them, males and females, 4 of them. And then on Wednesday, to prepare this for, to inform the gods
that we have a funeral here.
we are having a situation here. Bhungane has passed on. We don't know his conducts on earth. Yes, he might say he was spiritual to us, but we don't know at night what is that he has done. We are seeking permission.
To proceed.
No. We are seeking permission to ask those who are in charge to say on Wednesday we are going to slaughter a goat.
The chickens are announcing
They are
that we are
announcing.
going to be slaughtering a
Absolutely.
goat. Yeah.
We're going to slaughter a goat. And this goat, it has to do with paving
The way.
the way for him to arrive at your destination. We don't know, again, we don't have authority. We don't know what is that he has done. Please, with this little token, we are just asking permission for you to welcome him. But whatever case, whatever crimes that he has committed, we are not involved. They will do that on Wednesday. Then, a lot of people think that a kettle, it is for talking to the ancestors. That's not true. A kettle, it is a coffin, that skin. It is
Wow.
meant for coffin.
That cow is for the coffin.
We
talk to the gods in the goat.
We talk, yes. But they need a skin to cover this person. Because in the olden days, we never used coffins.
Okay.
We need that skin so that meat would then be shared
The community.
by the community. But the key thing that we need
Is the skin.
is the skin.
So it's not true. That whole cow.
No.
I like that correction. I like that correction. Because then you find that many Christian people would think that I will not kill a cow. I'll just go to the butchery and buy meat. And you are missing the essence.
You're missing.
Because the real issue is that the cow is the coffin.
The cow,
The skin
is used as a coffin.
As a coffin.
But what do we do today? We take an ordinary blanket we have bought somewhere in Plaza.
Yes.
And we
Put it on
cover
top
of the
box.
coffin. It does not make any significance. Because the key thing is to cover
The body.
the body
Of the person in the skin.
in the skin.
And submit them back to the ground.
Absolutely. Now again, in terms of burial rituals, we must understand that in the ancient times, thus everything was done in the kraal, because that's where we used to bury.
The kings and fathers of the homes.
Actually, not only the kings, but the kings. Now, what we need to understand is the difference of the hierarchy
Of burials, yeah.
of chiefs and kings.
Maybe let's just start with the fathers. Maybe we'll move there a bit later on so that we don't confuse
a father is being buried into a kraal, in a sitting formation. What they do, they dig a sitting formation.
They dig a chair.
They dig a chair
in the
kraal, in the middle of the kraal.
And usually the kraal was within a homestead.
In the homestead,
Yeah.
yes. Not burying a father of a home in the cemetery
in the graveyard.
somewhere in Avalon, no. Because this man must look after his homestead.
Here, not there.
His father must be the protector.
But yet I once said something very, very critical, and I don't think people heard me. When I actually said, the reason why Africans, we want our land.
Absolutely.
We want our land so that our graves become our title deeds.
Absolutely.
Where
Absolutely.
you cannot, for example, would drive down into South Africa here
Right.
and find a white farmer who says he owns the land, but the graves of the ancestors and the forefathers are actually in the, people must now seek for permission
Can you
to
imagine?
go into their own. So the fact that the graves are there actually
the
said.
title deed.
That's the title deed.
Absolutely.
What more do you want? What more do you want?
Absolutely.
So land to an African is not just land as of the European sense of land.
Absolutely.
It is actually the ritual that goes in terms of protecting the homestead.
Absolutely. So the head of the family is now buried into the kraal. Thus, when they do rituals, no female enters the kraal. Only male.
That's where the nakedness of the father is.
Absolutely. But that's where the naked
remember, we buried him naked, yes.
Absolutely.
So we cannot bring
covered with that
with the
skin,
skin, yeah.
given a stick and a
sword, spear.
A spear to say you must protect your homestead, because protecting from who? From the witches, from the people that are doing wrong. The spirit, absolutely. Then he sits in that formation. Then the cows are then let into the kraal. Then
so they cover it flat. They cover it flat.
Absolutely.
And the cows are on top.
Absolutely.
Wow.
The kraal is our graveyard. Then, now remember, out of that, now you would understand that in our tradition, no person is buried asleep. Because if you sleep, how are you going to be able
to watch your family?
Absolutely.
So this thing we put in a coffin and
it does not work.
That's why South Africa is in trouble.
That's
all the people are sleeping.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, it's true. Because Martin, when they're about to close that coffin, lala ngokolo,
R.I.P. Rest
in peace.
Sleep.
How then do you then expect that spirit to be revoked?
When he's fast asleep.
Fast asleep.
Hey, my God.
So we must understand those rituals. Now I want to go back to the Wednesday story. Now when you have done that ritual on Wednesday,
you've killed the first 4 chickens,
yes,
asking for permission.
Absolutely.
Then on
Wednesday, then you say, on Saturday, Bhungane is coming.
Over there.
Because on Tuesday, or that day he died, with those 4 chickens, you are now informing them to prepare a place for him to be accepted on the other side. If Bhungane has committed crimes, committed abominations,
on Wednesday,
they will tell you on Thursday to say, we don't want him here, this one. The seers will come and say, there's a problem. I have got the information or the messages from the gods to say, don't bring that man here. For example, in terms of other traditions, a man who is not married, is not buried into the homestead.
Okay.
He is buried into the forest. Absolutely. Because that man, what do you expect out of him?
In my tribe, we call them Omashainyo. So it means that when there is a snake in the yard, they look for the single people. But hey, because
when they die,
even if you are beaten by the snake, who cries for a man who has no sin?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So they will then have those people. But the fathers who are being buried into, they check the homestead. But there's a ritual that I would love to talk about. That ritual, we always talk about rituals, but today I think is the right platform.
We are right into the rituals
now
today.
Before you bury that person
into the kraal,
you bury, you bury that person into the kraal. There's a certain medicine that you cleanse
the man with.
The man, be either the woman that has died. Yeah, maybe let's stick to the man.
Yeah.
There's a certain medicine that you use to cleanse. You don't take a washing rag and the soap. As we do today, we go to the mortuary.
We're going to wash your corpse.
No. And that medicine, it is a medicine that it is used to at least cleanse this body for any contamination, so that he is able to be received and to be dealt with his sins.
The preparation.
A lot of people don't understand that.
But I want us to mention something very important. Because remember, we're building bridges in Kosia.
Right.
Between where the people are now, the Christian experience, and the old ancient tradition.
I want to come to that one. Remember what happened to Jesus Christ. Remember what happened. They did not just bury him.
Mary and Martha.
Yes, they had to go and wash him.
Yes, Mary.
And remember what they did. They used the traditions.
Early morning.
They used the traditions of the Jews
To come and wash a body.
Absolutely. They did not say he's a Christian.
And this
absolutely.
I want us to get heated up there.
Absolutely.
These are Christians, by the way.
They had to
who say
undergo.
they have nothing to do with rituals.
But also the same person that they are coming to wash, when he was still alive, remember what he said? I am not here to destroy your traditions, your rites, whatever, or your ritual, but I'm here to add.
Let's do a nice one. Let's misbehave because we can. Because we can, because on a Tuesday, Wednesday,
Yes.
a woman comes to Jesus
Yes.
in the house of Simon
Yes.
with perfume,
Yes.
and she anoints and washes him with perfume.
Yes.
And then the people in the room says, but why are you doing this? And then Jesus says, no, she's preparing me for the grave.
Wow. Wow.
And I'm saying
Wow.
this in passing.
Wow.
When you find these Christians who think that they know the Bible,
Yes. And
Bafika Bible based in land,
Yes.
and
That's true.
And you say, do you guys?
but the same person, he said, I am the son of David. What did he mean by saying so?
My roots,
Absolutely.
my ancestors.
My ancestors. And
Even when they were calling him
Yes.
Jesus,
Yes.
son of
David.
David.
But again, the very same person that we are talking about, he was buried into what? A ritual
Into a ritual.
of the Jews.
According to the culture and
Absolutely.
traditions. So why are Africans not burying according to the culture of the Africans?
You know, when I was in Israel, there are two graves of Jesus Christ in Jerusalem. There's the New Jerusalem
And the
Old
one, I went to the other
Absolutely.
one, right in the city.
I went
there.
to the two of them there. And there are two Golgothas there. So the Jews that were there, they were asking me. Now, let me start with the one where there are Pharisees who are wearing black clothes.
Yes. This one with twisted hair. And
There is a similar graves as we are burying today. It is a marble one.
yes. The Lapan in that
Yes.
room there.
And there is another place, a marble one, where there is water that is flowing. They said, this is where the body of Christ was being washed.
Yeah.
According to our
Actually,
tradition.
they've been trying to say this, that those are the blood stains.
Absolutely.
The
Yes.
big glass there.
Yes.
I was there.
Yes, I was there.
Yeah.
Then they take you outside as you go up. There is Golgotha, the face of the skull. Then I went outside. They showed me another face of the skull. And then they showed me a grave where I was told it was being borrowed
To him.
to him.
For burial.
It was owned by somebody who was rich.
Yes. Joseph of Arimathea.
They did not use the coffin outside. They used the white cloth. Like the way the Muslims are being buried today.
We Africans use the skins.
Absolutely.
The Jews use the cloth.
Absolutely.
The European uses a box.
Absolutely. So the question that we should ask ourselves, where did we go wrong as the Bantu people?
This is getting
Because
interesting.
we are the first people
Who is the original?
who has the originality and the connection and the melanin into the system. Why are we so foolish to not understand that we are the chosen nation?
What I'm hearing you saying is actually we are surrounded by rituals everywhere. We can talk about white weddings. We talk about African weddings. And you wonder why Africans are doing white weddings and you never find white people doing African weddings. Now there are funeral issues here.
Yes.
You find that Africans are now doing European funerals. But will Europeans ever do African funerals? Because either way, what you call a white wedding is white tradition.
Again, after he died at the cross, the mother ask the permission to bury
according
to the traditions.
But yet, today you're on fire.
No, we are dealing with the honest fact. The very same person, the very same person, before he dies, he says, Father,
in your hands.
No, before he says, Father,
forgive them.
Father,
why have you forsaken me?
Why have you forsaken me? Because why? I've
done everything
according to your gospel. Then he says, it is done. Then the mother comes and says, can you allow me?
I want to demystify something exciting right there in Kosiam. In the words of the Jewish Jesus.
Yes. And then the Jews, you know what they say to me? I met with the Jews. We're invited at the embassy. They say, when you talk about the history of Zomongange, we talk about Shlomo.
Shlomo.
Yes!
That's Hebrew. Shlomo.
Yes! They said your history is our history.
My word.
We are one people.
My word.
Your traditions are our traditions. The question is, who is fooling who in this zoo?
What you are raising today is quite exciting.
Right.
Little information, Nkosiam, is dangerous.
Absolutely.
I don't know how these young pastors who sleep at night, they sing one song, they wake up the following morning, they're pastors.
Right.
They have not even read this book.
Yes.
They have not read African culture. They have not read Jewish Hebrew culture. They have no clue to this text. All they know, in Jesus' mighty name, in Jesus' mighty name. And you look and say, are you sure of this thing? Because I want us maybe just to, when you were talking, me coming from a pastoral background,
absolutely.
I'm hearing you mentioning words like, we are submitting his spirit to the gods. And you know, the gods must accept him. And the gods must sing. And I know there are people out there who are holding their chairs and say, how can a man be...
God says in Genesis, let us make humans in our
image.
He does not say, let me.
Let us.
Who is us?
Gods. While you are there, but where I wanted to push is where Jesus says, before he dies, in your hands
I commit
my spirit. The question is, when a person dies, where does the spirit go? Because if we're supposed to use the biblical narrative,
that's what we do.
It is clear.
When you compare the two, we say on Wednesday we are preparation meaning we are now committing to receive the spirit
on the other side.
Absolutely.
Because even Ecclesiastic says the dead, the living know that they shall die, the dead know nothing. And when the person dies, the body is given back to the ground, but the spirit
because remember,
to the one who created
the gospel of Angoni, it says the spirit that you are breathing, it is not yours. It belongs to the divine or to the divinity and to the creator. Thus, according to Angoni, they say